Should you teach syllable types? If you've spent any time in online literacy spaces, you know this question promotes a lively discussion. If you're new here, my name is Anna Geiger. I'm the author of Reach All Readers, host of the Reach All Readers podcast, and creator of the Reach All Readers Plus membership. And my mission is to help you bridge the gap between what we know from research and what you do in your classroom every day. A few years ago, I wrote a Facebook post called Should You Teach Syllable Types? And wow, did it bring the discussion. I didn't take a strong side, I just laid out arguments for both. The comments were interesting. One person wrote, "There are only two syllable types in English, open and closed. Teaching anything else is nonsense and lies." A dyslexia interventionist, trained in 3 different programs, some teaching syllable types and some not, said that by the time they get to her, students are frustrated and just giving up on longer words. She said that syllable types gave them a tool to attack those words. She also acknowledged that syllable types can get clunky, and she concluded, "I don't think we need to get into the weeds on it." A teacher who teaches English abroad said that the added language required to explain syllable types was overwhelming for her students. And she found it encouraging that research shows that students can become proficient readers without it. And then there was a back and forth between me and a commenter who told me that if a program doesn't include syllable types, it's not SOR, or Science of Reading. She said all SOR-aligned programs include syllable types. And I told her, actually, there's research that shows successful programs could include syllable types, but they don't have to. Both types of programs have shown to be successful. I asked her to send me links to the research. She told me to search Google Scholar. And then she told me about a popular professional development program that promotes syllable types and used that as her proof. And I said, well, different PD can promote syllable types, that's fine, but what I need is not just what one professional expert says, but what the research says before we can claim that teaching syllable types is required for successful reading. I didn't hear back from her after that. The point is, there's a lot of debate and strong feelings about syllable types. Many of us who didn't understand the structure of the English language learned about syllable types and got really excited and want to really share all that information with our students. Is that important? Is it necessary? We're going to talk about that today. So what are syllable types? Most written English syllables can be divided into about 6 categories. There's more, but there are the 6 main categories according to their spelling. Because every syllable has a single vowel sound, the syllable types are focused on how that sound is spelled. So here's how they break down. A closed syllable type ends with a consonant and the vowel sound is short. Think of the word nap, or the first syllable of kitten, and the last syllable of kitten. An open syllable ends with a single vowel and the vowel sound is long. Think of the first syllable of the word motel, mo. A magic E syllable, also called vowel consonant E or CVCE or magic E or sneaky E, has the pattern vowel consonant E. The vowel sound is long. Think of safe, or the second syllable of cupcake. A vowel team syllable uses 2 or more letters to spell a single vowel sound. Think of the word see, or the first syllable of teammate. An R-controlled syllable, sometimes called bossy R or R-influenced, has a vowel followed by the letter R, which changes the vowel sound. Think of farm or yard. And a consonant LE syllable, sometimes called the final stable syllable, appears at the end of words like bottle or little. Some programs include a 7th syllable type for diphthongs, others include those in the vowel teams category. Now here's where it gets interesting. Linguists, from my understanding, would say there are only 2 syllable types, open and closed. Here's a quote from Lynn Stone, a linguist, on her website, Lifelong Literacy. There are various approaches to teaching literacy that incorporate the notion of syllable types. While this may be interesting teacher knowledge, I question its efficacy if it's being taught to students. Open and closed syllables are the only 2 syllable types that have operational importance. The others are extraneous metalinguistic labels on things that don't necessarily lead to accurate spelling and pronunciation. And she adds, we need to pick our battles on a need-to-know, nice-to-know basis, and I don't think children need to know labels for syllables more than they need to know the meaning and structure of morphemes. If you want to know more about morphemes, that's coming in a future set of YouTube videos. In an interview on my podcast, Lynn actually went a little bit further and she said that those other syllable types, the ones beyond open and closed, are zombies. They don't exist. As I've tried to work this through in my mind, my understanding, and I could be wrong on this, so please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that when a linguist says open syllable or closed syllable, they're talking about what you do with your mouth. When you say an open syllable, you can feel that it's not closed off, right? You could actually sing it. No, mew. With a closed syllable, you can feel the consonant closing off the syllable, right? So cat, pick. Linguists do not recognize vowel consonant E, R-controlled vowels, the diphthong syllable if you count that one, vowel teams, or consonant LE as syllable types. Those are, to my understanding, instructional categories designed specifically to help students decode and spell English. So I think of them more as patterns that we can teach students to read, but not necessarily label. So here are some arguments for teaching syllable types. The main argument is that syllable types can help students read longer words. So when they see those patterns in those syllables, that helps them break the word down, read the vowel. I like to think of them as opening a door. If students can read an R-controlled vowel like AR as in farm, they can also read longer words like farmyard or armchair. Once they can read that vowel, they can read it in longer words as well. For programs based on the Orton-Gillingham approach, syllable types are also useful because they come into play when students divide words by syllable division pattern. So for example, with a word with a VC-CV pattern, like kitten, they could break it down the middle and then they can see they have two closed syllables that would have the short vowel sound. Syllable types can also support spelling. For example, when an open syllable combines with a consonant LE syllable, as in the word ladle, we know that that consonant in the middle, the D, is not going to be doubled because it's a long vowel sound that precedes it. There are many arguments against teaching syllable types, though. One of them is that syllable types aren't consistent. The schwa, the most common vowel sound in English, creeps up all the time. So think about the word cactus. Technically, that's two closed syllables, so you would expect that second syllable to have the short U sound, cactus. But in that unaccented syllable, we hear the schwa, as we do in many English words, that lazy I or sound. Some argue that teaching syllable types isn't necessary when we teach students a flexible approach to reading longer words instead. So take this word, habit. Instead of teaching students where to divide the word by the VCV or VCV pattern, instead students could simply try different sounds for the vowel until they land on a word they know. It's either habit or habit. Habit, I know the word habit. There's also the argument about working memory. Learning the names and definitions of syllable types, as well as long drawn-out procedures for dividing words up, labeling the syllable types, figuring out the sounds of the vowel, and then decoding the word may be too much for some students. It also, frankly, takes up a lot of your lesson time. Researcher Devin Kearns, who has written a lot about this and spoken about it, has said that syllable division patterns, which are closely tied to syllable types, are inconsistent and probably not worth our time to teach. On syllable types themselves, he agrees that teaching open and closed syllables is important, although he would probably call them long and short vowel syllables and not worry about teaching students to label those particular syllable types. So where do I land? I think it's helpful for teachers to understand that there are 6 common printed syllable types just to improve our knowledge about phonics, even as we recognize that most of them are probably better described as spelling patterns than syllable types. As for students, I'm really not convinced that they need to be able to identify all the syllable types by name and label them. That is what I learned in my Orton-Gillingham training, but I also observed during my Orton-Gillingham lessons that this took a lot of time out of our lesson, this long period of time, maybe 15 minutes a day or lesson, as we were working through longer words, figuring out how to break them up, label each part. I'm just not convinced that's a useful use of instructional time. And as a reminder, research does not tell us that students should or should not be taught syllable types. There's been success with programs that incorporate syllable types and those that don't. So I'll ask you what I asked teachers in the comment section on my Facebook post. Do you teach syllable types? Do you think they're important? Any caveats for teachers? Let me know in the comments below. And if this episode has got you thinking more about your phonics instruction, you're invited to my Invigorate Your Phonics Instruction Challenge. It's a 5-day event. You'll get 5 daily emails with links to videos that will help you think more about how you can get the most out of your phonics instruction. We'll be talking about spelling, decodable text reading, the structure of a phonics lesson, even morphology. You can register using the link below this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.